Hello people of the internet. Today's episode is going to be shorter because I need to run in half an hour, so we don't have the full hour. Anyway, I maintain a Fedora package called rpm-spec-language-server, which basically means an LSP server for rpm-spec files. This package was developed by Dan Chermak from OpenSUSE, and he also maintains the upstream project. There was a long-standing issue that the implementation required by GLS version 1 dot something, but Fedora Rawhide already had Python PyGLS 2.0, which breaks the previous API, which makes the language server to fail when trying to build it. So he finally managed to port this to the PyGLS 2.0, and that means, and also he released a new version of the language server. That means we can finally build this for Fedora 43 and Rawhide, which is currently 44, I think. So let's do just that. First of all, we need to clone the should you see this or shouldn't you see this? Oh, I think this is fine. So first of all, we need to have the appropriate repository locally. So if we go to git fedora python, no, I don't have it on my computer. So we are going to basically find the package in the Fedora dist-git. The name is this, and we are going to fed package clone by the name. Now, am I blind? Python copper, come on, dbus, log detective. Nobody said nothing about, right, because there was Python dash something, and this doesn't actually start with Python. I know the package is written in Python, so I expected the Python prefix, but sure, it doesn't make any sense because it being Python is an implementation detail. So either way, we have it cloned here. Now, what's the status here? All right, so I have some patches for some experiments that I did when trying to use the stable version, but adding some downstream patches to it for the support of the PyGLS. This didn't work, by the way, so we can probably stash everything. So at this moment we have no changes. Now we are in Rawhide, right? So we can git pull rebase to see if there are some new changes, like mass rebuilds or something. All right, so we got some new change. Now let's jump to the directory in, so home directory git fedora, that's good enough, rpm-spec-language-server, and there is the spec file. So as you can see, we have version 001 and release 9. The new upstream version that we need is releases tags version 002, released yesterday. So we are going to rpm dev bump spec new version. This is my personal command, but it basically runs rpm dev bump spec with the dash parameter. So we are going to run this, and it asks for the new version. So that's 002, right? I run this. Now the version is 002. The release was reset to 1, and we have a new changelog entry. So if we take a look at the diff, right, this changed it. So now we can probably try to build this in Copper to see if it builds or not, because it's much easier to debug there than trying to do so in Koji, or yeah. So let's go to Copper. I should probably have some project for this. By the way, if I sound a little bit strange today, it's because I was at the dentist and it's weird to talk for me. So hopefully it's not that weird. I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, the name of the project is, of the package is this. So I would expect myself to have this exact project name in Copper. And as usual, the Copper search is slow. There is a lot of tickets about that in the Copper upstream issue tracker. And it's not that easy to fix because we would need to change a lot of stuff. But yeah, we need to do that eventually because the search is crappy. So Frostix / the rpm-spec-language-server, this is my project. So we will try to build the package here. If you can see, I tried to build it a month ago and failed. So we can do Copper build inside of this project, and what the rpm-spec-language-server spec. We don't even need to build our source RPM locally and build the source RPM and then submit the source RPM to be built in Copper. You can just submit the spec file because it references full source URL, and therefore Copper can download the sources for us, which is pretty awesome. So if I refresh this page, the last build changed and it's running right now. So we can take a look here. Now, hopefully this will not take such a long time, because Copper currently has limited resources because of the AWS outages. So I think there is a long queue right now and so on, but hopefully it won't be such a problem. So we finished the source RPM build. Now we are going to build for Fedora 41, 2, 3 and Rawhide. Now we are building only for the x86-64 architectures, which means we shouldn't be that much affected by the AWS outages, because Copper has its own hypervisors for this architecture. That's one point. The other one is, I don't know, since it's Python, then it being able to build for this architecture, there is a very high probability it will build for other architectures. So we don't need to specifically test in Copper for that. We can leave it to Koji builds. Now, I expect Fedora 41 and 42 to fail, because the Python PyGLS is there in the version 1.0 or 1 point something. So the new version of the LSP server should probably fail there. But maybe Dan wrote it so well that it supports both of those versions right now. Maybe, I'm not sure. We will see. So we should wait until... All right, so it failed in average root. Well, that's unexpected. And this is really strange because nothing provides requested PyGLS version higher than 2. How so? How is that even possible? So if we take a look at Koji, for example, Python PyGLS, check this out. There is version 2.0. And if we take a look at Bodhi, at the same package, Python-PyGLS. So for Fedora 43, there is Python PyGLS 2.0 stable. So I'm very confused about what we are seeing right now. By any chance, do I have some PyGLS built inside here? Come on, Copper, do something. Oh, this is not Copper. My browser got stuck. All right, so no Python PyGLS builds here. That's weird. So why it doesn't see... If we search for PyGLS here, I mean, this is really weird. So what if we try to run a Docker container, which is going to be something like Fedora 43, because my system runs Fedora 42, so I cannot check the repositories properly, because I expect in my repositories there to be the old version. But if we now we are in the container on Fedora 43, if we search for search Python 3 PyGLS, so it is here. And if we do DNF info on the same package, it's 2.0 A5. So now there is the question. If this version is actually higher than whatever is expected by the package, which is this, basically. So let's compare those two versions. Maybe there is some weird edge case that I don't know about. So rpm-dev, we are in the container, I don't have my dev stuff there, so let's copy this. rpm-dev var compare this and just 2. So this version is higher than 2, which is what I would expect. So what the hell? This is already going very bad. What repositories are enabled here? So we have this. but the standard official Fedora repositories should be allowed though. Anyway, okay, maybe this is a copper issue, I'm not sure. And since we have only 15 minutes left, let's try to not build this in copper then, but let's do fed package source RPM. Now we built a source RPM for the LSP server 002, which is what we needed, and we will try to fed package build. I think the scratch build is fed package build scratch and source RPM this path. We are not authenticated, so fedpack init my username. I need to specify the username because my FAS username is different than my system username. Now two-factor auth. So we successfully authenticated. Let's try the build again. Good. Now we need to wait if this succeeds or fails in Koji. I'm very, very curious about that. Now this will probably take longer than in copper, which is unfortunate. Also, in copper we submitted everything at once, all the truths. Now we are building only for rawhide, but that would be probably good enough. By the way, this package is very useful when trying to build, when you are writing spec files, because it can show you documentation for macros, and it can show you, it can autocomplete macros for you and stuff like that. So it should even understand in what part of the spec file you are and behave accordingly to that. So yeah, it's pretty useful. I'm not sure if I have it enabled because I didn't write a spec file for a long time. I usually just change the versions, so I don't need to use it. But for example, I think if we do a glot to start the LSP server, now we should be connected. Yeah, check this out. So we have this dist macro. I pressed Shift K, which is in my case show documentation, and it shows the value for the macro. So if we take a look at the oh yeah, that's a problem with my Emacs configuration. I have some bug there, but yeah, it actually rendered the value of the dist correctly, and then it bugged. Sorry about that. But if you in your Emacs configuration it will work. If you use Vim it will work and show you the stuff. If you use VS Code it will work, and so on. Now you should also be able to do something like build and show me the possible completions. For example, build requires. As you can see, it's not just string it's not based on string completion. Like I have seen this string in the elsewhere in this file, so I'm going to recommend it to. It actually understands that you want to write like the keyword argument here, and it shows you the documentation for it and so on. So it's really good. It's like same capabilities that you have, for example, when writing, I don't know, Python code in using the LSP. So it's really good. Sorry about the documentation. That was a bug in my Emacs configuration, not bug of the server itself. Right, so what's happening here? So we build the source RPM. Sure, we know we know we can do that. Now, still waiting for the RPM build. If you're watching the video, you can probably just skip to the part where the build for the given Fedora version, which is 44, succeeds or fails. So we can continue from there. We need to just wait at this moment. We can maybe move here to see something. Do we see anything in the build log other than cute anime waifus? Root log, sure. It does something. Mock output, sure. So we need to wait. In the meantime, let me thank you all for the very nice comments and very nice comments and messages that you send me on YouTube and also privately. It's very much appreciated. I never expected anyone to watch these, and apparently a lot of you do. So it's really fucking cool. Thank you very much. If there is some kind of content that you would like to see, then let me know. We can try to incorporate it in. I mean, I still want to continue this series, the hour in life as a Fedora developer, because it really fits my workday, because I can simply, whatever I'm doing currently or at the moment, I can just start OBS and record it, and that's the episode. So it's really kind of low effort, and therefore I can do it every day and be consistent, which is amazing. So I still want to continue this, but if there is something Fedora related that you would like us to do, we can definitely do that. So yeah, let me know. Also, this failed, so it wasn't probably a copper issue. Let's take a look at the bottom. I cannot see any error. Yeah, I can see the error. Nothing provides requested by GLS version higher than 2. What the hell is this? So let's compare also, but that would be very, very weird. But if we if we compare this, sure, as expected. So I have no idea, I have literally no idea why it cannot see the PyGLS package. None. Zero. So anyway, I need to run in 5 minutes, so I will probably stop the video right here. And since we didn't achieve what I wanted, I will probably continue working on this when I get back, and we can see this through. So I will probably edit the video and put both of them into one video, so all of it will be just one episode where we start the process and finally finally finish building it. So all right, I'm running now. From your point of view, see you in a minute. Bye bye. Hello again. I'm back home. So let's continue. I still don't understand why the specific version of the PyGLS couldn't be found, because I checked many times in many different ways, and the version 2, or basically, yeah, the version 2 is always there. So I have no clue how it is not available when building the package. But let's not get hung up on that. I think maybe we could work around this a little and ignore the weird reason why this happens, and basically basically replace the specific version of PyGLS to just any version of PyGLS. So what I mean, if we take a look at the upstream project, we have PyProject.toml, which specifies PyGLS here. And this is the only line. So we could replace this with just PyGLS, I think, not specifying the version, and I think it should work just fine. So this trick is what many packages do to relax the versions, because Poetry typically limits the versions to some specific numbers, and it's not very compatible with how distributions work, how Linux distributions work. So people typically relax the dependencies, and we can know that if we, for example, rg what, Poetry, for example, in my downloads directory, latest, or rpm-specs, yeah, rpm-specs, this is the directory with all Fedora packages spec files. So if we do this, there should be some if we rg, for example, relax, I definitely have seen many relax Poetry relax poetry versions there. Not sure why I'm not able to find it though. One more time, let's rgd poetry. Maybe we should rg set command. So this, and if we search for some Python package, Python dash something. This is weird. Check this out. This is it. This is the trick. In PyProject Toml, they replace this with whatever, I don't know. This is quite complicated, but yeah, this is the trick. I have done it recently even for this project, and we stashed it because it didn't work properly. But if we take a look at my stashes, it's this one. So I think we can try that. So this needs to happen in the prep phase, I would think. And previously there was a line saying PyGLS version this. I think the line is now just 2.0. So we need to do, so this is the string that we are replacing, and this is the string we are replacing it with. So can we do just PyGLS like this without any version? I'm not exactly sure. So let's try to fed package source RPM, and I think we can locally build it because that will be faster. I did some experiments in mock, so hopefully it won't skew the experiment in any way. All right, so it expects a version. All right, PyProject Toml dependencies, any version. So what if we do, instead of this, we do, I don't know, like this without the cap? I don't know if it helps or not. It shouldn't, because like I don't understand the problem. That's the issue. But so what's the problem now? Same. Maybe I needed to do like this. Is that possible? So I'm not sure. This is just guessing and hoping. So it's the same problem now. It's starting to get weird. Do we see any relevant information? expected equal sign. So yeah, here expected equal sign after a key. Right, so oh yes, I mean sure, because there's a key value. Sure, I mean the version needs to be like this. So if we try again, all right, so we are getting the PyGLS. Now let's ask if the version can be any. So we take this. I have this in my Py project domain. Can I change the dependency to any version? Current line, exact version. Okay, any version, so asterisk works fine. Good. Okay, we finally got through the error. However, it seems the fails test, and I have no clue why. Do we have any patches here? I don't think so. For some reason these tests fail. Is that the ones that I reported? No. I reported like a larger problem originally. What do we have in the output? Fetch upstream spec-md, and we asserted something, and it's actually none. I don't know. Should we report these don't work? Should we skip those? If we take a look at the tests directory here, we are talking about test extract docs. This is the one. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so I think, what if we skip those tests just for an experiment? Now, how do we skip tests? I think we need to pass, and we need to pass some parameters here, And I definitely did that on some project. On Qtile. I did this very thing at Qtile. So let's take a look. It would be git/fedora/qt. It cannot find like this. So edit git fedora, good enough, Qtile spec, and here we have the correct syntax. So I said we need to, yeah, here. So we will have a new line so that every test can be on its separate line, and we have this one. Yeah, I think this is the correct syntax, like this. And basically we will do this 4 times. And this is the second one. Third one. And the last one. Of course, this is the last line, so it cannot have the line continuation. And like this. If we fed package the source RPM and run mock again, now we should probably get a successfully built RPM package. Yep. Let's do the same in Copper. So Copper build. Yeah, we can build from the spec file, that's fine. Now we submitted the build in Copper for all Fedora versions. We will see in a second. And the thing is, I have no idea if it will work in the first place. I have no idea if it will work on the various Fedora versions. And I definitely cannot test it for Fedora 43 and Rawhide because I don't have them installed. I'm running Fedora 42. What we can do is install the package on the Fedora 42 package on my system and test it. If it doesn't work, then okay, no problem. We don't need to ship this new version for Fedora 42. We can ship it only for Fedora 43 and Rawhide. Now, we should at least do a minimal test in Fedora 43. And I'm thinking we could install it in a Docker container and try running the server. We won't communicate with it and try to parse the actual values from the spec file and so on. We will just try to run it. If it runs, let's consider it good enough for the update. People will probably find out if it's broken or not because it will get it will get into the testing repositories, and whoever uses Fedora 43 will easily test it. So it seems for Fedora 42 it doesn't build. That was my expectation, because Fedora 42 has the old Python PyGLS. Now this on the other hand has a new one and successfully built. We can quickly check. So PyGLS, what was installed here? Right, so here it was installed the PyGLS version 1.2, and in the Fedora 43 it was the 2.0. So this looks as expected. I have no clue why the version cupping didn't work, but whatever. Now we should probably try to install this in a container. So what is this? This is Fedora 43. We can take a look here, and we can simply copy this link, dnf install this package, without even enabling the copper project. Now we successfully installed it, and rpm-ql, the package name, grep bin. This is the binary that we have in the provided by the package. So let's run it. All right, no output, which means the server is running at least. I think this is good enough, and we can ship it. Yep, I think this is good enough. Okay, let's kill this. We will need to also report to the upstream the tests that we skipped. We should do that right now. We should do that right now. I am still getting some failures from the test. Some test failures. So I temporarily did good enough, and we shall continue now. Yeah, some tests are failing. See this. Probably not the event, but yeah, the event. What does this link to? Yeah, good enough. How is it that it doesn't have a issue command, right? This is the correct link, not the event one. Right, good enough. Now we can stage this, and we can do our changelog says new upstream version, so we can probably say new upstream version. And what was the version? It was this one. So we can join it like this. Nice. And we are on what branch? Rawhide, as expected. We can fed package build There are unpushed. Oh, sure. Fed package push. I know. Is there a problem though? And we need to. Oh, all right. My bad. We need to fed package new sources on this version. Now we uploaded the sources to a local-site cache, and it changed the git ignore and the sources. Git diff cached, it did this. So we can commit this as a work in progress, and we can rebase the branch so that it is in the same commit that our previous changes, like this. If we scroll down, we see the sources change, and here is the git ignore change. Now we should push it. It complains about the patches that are not checked. I hope it does. It just ignores them. We will take a look at this page. This is the forge for the project. If we take a look at files, it's slow as shit, but whatever. Right, so no patches here. That's good. If you take a look at history, the all right. If you take a look at this, it has the new version that we did. It has the changes that we did. So new changes were pushed, but the patches weren't there. That's what we wanted. I should remove the patches, but maybe there is something relevant that I may need in the future. I have no idea. So we submitted a build in Koji, and we submitted the build only for Fedora Rawhide. Now we need to switch branch to Fedora 43, which still has the last commit that was like mass rebuild here, not the commit that we did a minute ago. We need to git rebase from Rawhide so that the latest commit is the one that we did just now, and we should push it also. And we should build it also. Now we are submitting a build for Fedora 43. That means we will have two builds that we need to wait for. All right, this takes unexpectedly long time. Good. Open the link. Now we have these two builds that we are waiting for. I don't know if there is anything that we can do while waiting. I guess not. I guess not. We just need to wait. But we are almost finished. Since the build succeeded in Copper for Fedora Rawhide and 43, it will very likely succeed in Koji too, because they both internally use mock. So the underlying build tool is the same, it's just a different interface, which means it should probably build successfully. Once it does, we can just submit an update for Fedora 43. We don't need to submit an update for Rawhide because that's done automatically. Rawhide is a rolling distribution. And once we do that, then we are finished, basically. It's a little bit bad, I'm a little bit guilty that we didn't test it properly, but the server starts. Yeah, I hope it's good enough. By the way, in the meantime, we can take a look at why my Emacs doesn't show the documentation properly, because it's definitely a problem of my Emacs, not the LSP server itself. So if I use help to see what command or function is used when I press Shift K, it's ldoc doc buffer, which means ldoc doc buffer, which does this. If we do the same on the URL, yeah, it doesn't really work. But if we do only ldoc, what does ldoc do? ldoc doesn't work. ldoc box help at point, no doc to display. Is it just that it cannot show the documentation for the preamble defined things? So if we do, for example, for prep, nothing. Auto setup. Okay, auto setup evaluates to setup queue. However, nothing. All right, this evaluates. What about this? All right, this evaluates to something as well. What about PyTest? I don't know how to scroll in the mini buffer. So if you take a look here, right? Yeah, see, some environment variables and PyTest. Here, I'll look at point. So, all right. And if I do K and back to the PyTest. All right. So my K command doesn't work properly because it somehow leaves the thing that was there before. But if I use just ldoc, this shows correctly, and if I use ldoc here, it works correctly, ldoc here correctly, right? So I need to remap my capital K button to use just ldoc, not ldoc doc buffer, or to use ldoc box at point, but I prefer I prefer the separate buffer like this. All right, so I need to remap that. Good, good. I'm glad we find the problem with that. Now back to the builds. They are still running. So we shall wait for a little bit longer. It shouldn't be much longer though. Little bit longer. I guess we have nothing to do at the very moment, so feel free to jump ahead to the point in the video where this succeeds. By the way, I was thinking about starting a new series similar to the hour in life as a Fedora developer. It would be called something like hacking on Emacs, and we would contribute to pull requests for Emacs packages. We would hack on my config, we would try new packages and so on. So I hope you will like that as well. I guess the audience won't be the same as for the Fedora stuff. Maybe there will be some intersection. Maybe some new folks will appear and like it. Hopefully, I don't know. We will see. I don't know what's the intersection of Fedora users and Emacs users, but those are my two hobbies. So I want to do both of them on the video. Now, this finished successfully. I'm not very proficient in Emacs Lisp, by the way. I can get around, but I'm not that good in it. But that will be probably a good thing, because you will see somebody struggle and you won't have an inferiority complex, because you will see that everybody's bad. Alright, so this finished. Now we need to do the last step, which is submitting an update. You can see immediately, 20 seconds ago, the Fedora 44 update was created. That's because Fedora 44 is rawhide now, and for rawhide it's automatic. For Fedora 43 we need to do it manually. So I always forget the freaking name of the package because it's very unintuitive for me. rpm-spec-language-server. Like this. Description, new upstream version. And we had some bugs for this package in Bugzilla. You can see there was a bug that a new version is available. You can see there was a bug that we failed to build the package in Rawhide, and there was a bug that it wasn't possible to install the package in Fedora 43. By the way, when I said Rawhide, it was in the time that Fedora 43 was the Rawhide. So it's a long time ago, half a year ago. Now, all of these Bugzillas are affected by this update, so we will link them. Bodhi will automatically comment on those Bugzillas and say, all right, here is an update that fixes this Bugzilla, please test it. And once it gets to the stable repositories, it will close them. So it's very, very useful to link the bugs here. Now we can just submit it. And this update will not be pushed to stable until the freeze is lifted. So we are currently doing this in a new branching window of Fedora 43. That means there is a freeze. So it will probably get to testing. I guess it will get into the testing repositories, but it won't get into the stable repositories until the Fedora 43 is branched. That means, what does that mean? I think nothing for us. We wanted to end here anyway. We will see if there is any feedback. If there are problems, we will fix them. If there are not problems, this will automatically, after some time, get into stable. You can see it will be minimally 7 days in the testing repositories, and then once the freeze is lifted, it can go to the stable. Alright, that was the update. It was much more complicated than I originally expected because of the issues that we had with the specific Python PyGLS version, which is still a mystery to me. But otherwise, this is the standard process that you go through when you are updating a package in Fedora. I'm planning to do a separate video, highly edited video, compact video about this process so that anyone can follow it in a few minutes and do a package update. Usually this process I think I can do a 3-minute video about that, and usually this process takes, I don't know, 10-ish minutes. We did it for an hour, probably hour and 15 minutes because of the issues, but yeah, it is what it is. All right, thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.